So I just got diagnosed with AuDHD at age 42, and I'm looking back on my life and realizing that there's all these things I thought were normal that everyone had to deal with, but no, it was just autism and ADHD combining together in a beautiful disaster. Just a disclaimer, I'm still learning all about how my autism and my ADHD work together and make something unique with AuDHD. I'm still learning about all of that, but I'm gonna just tell you my experiences, and hopefully it can be of help to you if you're in the process of figuring things out for yourself as well. Stay tuned, especially for the last one, because yeah, that one's a doozy. All right. Number one, I thought that everyone had to rehearse conversations in their head ahead of time before having the actual conversation. For instance, and this is why I do not like phone calls, because I cannot see the person's face, so that makes it harder for me to figure out how they are feeling. And then secondly, it's just unpredictable. And so I will do my best to have a script ready ahead of time. Before I pick up the phone, I'm always like, okay, when they pick up the phone, I'm going to say hi, I'm going to say, how are you? And then I'm going to have a specific phrase ready, like, I need to schedule my dentist appointment, or I need to find out more information about blah, blah, blah. I had a whole thing in my head ahead of time, and sometimes it resulted in me just delaying the phone call for a bit because it's like I couldn't quite get ready to actually make the phone call. And this happens also in person, especially if there's like a hard conversation that I need to have with somebody. I will rehearse it ahead of time. Sometimes I put it in AI to see how can I say this without offending anybody, to ensure that my intentions are properly understood and there's no misunderstandings. I'll put it in AI. I did, and I was so excited when I was able to start putting it in AI. I only found out about that recently, like maybe earlier this year. I'm like, oh dang, AI can help me. So all this to say, I will spend hours, maybe days, rehearsing these conversations in my head, and nobody knows this. And I thought that that's what everyone did. I don't know why I thought that that's why I thought that maybe I just was having a hard time putting my thoughts together, because they would come back with something that I didn't expect. I'm just thrown for a loop. I don't know what to say, and then I just fall apart. So we'll get more into that too later on. But yeah, all right, moving on. By the way, I'm building a community for AuDHDers. So if you're interested in that, there's a link to the waitlist below if it hasn't already launched. But either way, yeah, you can get on it below. All right, let's get back to the video. Number two, I thought that everybody got easily exhausted after social interactions, but even like parties and stuff, like I know that you get tired after like a party or hanging out and stuff, but I would take a long time to recover. Like I would need to go to bed, and then maybe the next day I'm in bed until halfway through the day. And I did not realize that that's not a thing for everyone. I would wonder, actually, I think I would just wonder why everyone seemed to be fine and not have any troubles proceeding throughout the rest of their day. I did not know that it's because my brain is trying to process all of this information. And also, like, I know for like the autistic side, it's like my brain is trying to filter what's important in like certain conversations and certain interactions and like what's going on around me and stuff. And it's working extra hard. And then the ADHD side of me is like, yeah, I want to be social. I want to like be around people, all this stuff. So it's like, even though I know that I shouldn't be in like big groups and like at big events and stuff, I still feel like I need that companionship sometimes. I'm okay now. Like I'm okay now that I understand myself better. I'm okay now. But for a while it was like this push and pull. And so it just resulted in me being like exhausted for the next day or two. Especially if there was things that I had to do that required a lot of brain power, thinking, planning, coordinating, things like that. It's like I'm down for the count the next day or two, and I just thought that I was just weak. I don't know what I thought, but I worked extra hard to take care of my body in other ways so that it could kind of like counteract that. And it was working for a while. It's been working for a while, but it's just there came a point where it wasn't working anymore. So I'm glad that I know this about myself now. I'm glad I understand it. Third, hearing every sound. My environment's always been noisy, but I thought that that's just how it is for everybody. But it makes so much sense now, because even like when people are talking to me, I realize that I have auditory like processing disorder or something. So when people are talking to me, it's like I cannot process the words they're saying. Even if they're like right in front of me, sometimes they need to repeat it several times. But now I'm okay with that. Like I could just be like, hey, I'm having trouble hearing. Can you repeat it? Or can you rephrase that? Because sometimes the words just don't make sense to me. But in general, I just hear everything around me. And so that's why I even have these on right now, because it actually makes it easier for me to film, because otherwise I'm very distracted by the background noise. And when I'm talking background noise, sometimes it's just like the hum of electronics. I said this in my previous video, like the chewing, the mouth noises, yeah, I can hear all of that. People breathing, it's rough. I didn't realize that everyone is not dealing with that, but it makes me feel better now that I understand that more about myself, that my brain is really working extra hard to filter out what's important at any given time. And sometimes it's fun because it's like a cool like spidey sense, but most of the time it's not fun. It's too much. So that's why sometimes I really like complete silence, or I'm good with like lo-fi music. I love that in the background. That's why I like nature. I like the sounds of nature. I can walk out in nature and it's okay if there's like it's okay if there's that. That's fine. And the sound of like the wind and the rustling of the leaves, that's fine. But yeah, if I'm in a room and there's too many conversations, I hear all the conversations, even if I don't want to hear the conversations, even if I'm trying not to hear the conversation, even if it's across the room, I hear it. So guys, don't say things around me that you don't want me to hear, because I can hear you even if you're across the room. And yeah, I can't hear a person that's right in front of me. Yep, that's how it is. Forgetting why I walk into rooms. And I think that I just chalk that up to getting older, but I realize I do it a lot more than like normal people. Unless I commit something to my head, like inside of my brain, like if I say, I have to sometimes say it out loud, or I have to say it in my mind, like I'm going to the living room to get my purse. I have to commit that into my heart and my soul. Otherwise, if I don't put it somewhere for a moment, I will walk into the room and forget. And then I'll walk out of the room, I'll remember, I'll walk into the room and I'll forget. It'll go on, and I'll get other things while I'm in the room. Then like an hour later, I'm like, I didn't even get the water. I went to get water and I ended up getting like all this other stuff from downstairs and doing all these other side quests. So that happens to me a lot more than I guess a regular person. And so now I understand that about my brain. But in general, I just try to write a lot of stuff down. I have to write stuff down. Like if you want to know more about like how I get things done throughout my day somehow, despite all of this, let me know down below in the comments. Number 5, masking and watching people. Do you guys not all watch people every day? Is that not a thing? That's creepy? Oh, I'm so sorry. All right, well, yeah, I've said this in other videos too, and like even on my main channel and stuff, but I watch people, and me admitting this is probably no bueno, but whatever guys. I've had to watch people so that I can learn more about how people interact, like when, people are just like saying polite things. I know when people are just saying polite things just to say polite things and like it's just a script. I kind of get annoyed by it. This is no offense to anybody, but it's just, if I see the same thing over and over again, it's a pattern that I get annoyed by, because I'm just like, guys, can't we do something different this time? Like small talk, I hate small talk. I'm good at it when I feel like it, when I have enough energy to put into it, I'll do it, because that's what people do. Like people don't just get into the point. But all this to say, in the past, I've spent most of my days just masking, and then I would wonder why I was so exhausted at the end of the day. I had like such a short temper by the time I'd get home around my family. So now that I understand myself better, I don't mask as heavily unless I really have to. Like I have like a limited energy store. I use it as needed depending on who I'm around. If I'm around like people who know me well already, I'm more likely to just put my mask down and just act how I want to act, say what I want to say in that moment. A lot of it is just me being silly. If I hear good wordplay, I can't resist myself from like repeating it or saying it. If I know there's a good wordplay thing or a word pun or whatever, I will say it. But if I'm like around people that, they don't really know me well, then I probably won't say it. Does that make sense? My hands come up a lot because there's something about just going like this for me. If I'm able to just put my hand like here by my heart, it's good. It helps me to feel centered, grounded. I do that more when I'm around people that I'm comfortable with and they're okay with it. And then the hands just always go like this. I didn't realize basically I was acting all day, and I was getting so good at acting. And that's why I also loved improv. I studied improv. I studied like comedy. It helped me a lot in general just to be able to say things on the go more readily, even though I still have trouble with it. But it became a game, a performance, whatever. It's all of that. So yeah, now I realize everybody's not like that. Everyone's just like acting normal, and then it was actually just me. By the way, if you're getting any value out of this video, I hope you'll consider liking it. It'll help the algorithm put it in front of more people that it could benefit. So yes, thank you, and let's get back to the video. taking things literally and not understanding sarcasm. The other day, it just happened to me. The other day, someone was like, can you send me a picture of the letter that was written? And I said, yeah, sure. So I sent a picture of the letter that was written because we needed a kid to write a letter and to send it to somewhere as a thank you letter. Someone was like, can you include a picture of the kid with the letter? In my mind, I thought that meant have the kid hold the letter, and that means they're in the picture with the letter. That's not what they meant. They meant take a little picture of the kid and put it like, in like the corner of the letter so that it's the letter and the picture of the kid is in the letter. That's what they meant. But when they said, can you take a picture of the kid with the letter? Come on, guys. It wasn't like, but it did. Why would you want a picture of the kid holding the letter? That just happened like last week. That's the kind of stuff that happens like almost every day to me. Like I'm thinking I'm understanding, but I'm taking it too literally. And then there's just so many instances where people are being sarcastic and I don't realize it. And so either I get in trouble for that or I don't realize it was a joke and then I feel sad because I didn't understand it was a joke. It happens so much. In general, I'm still gullible, I'm still naive, but I'm a lot better now, but I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like life is a game and there's rules and I'm playing a different game. I'm trying to figure out what the game is. All right, next we need to talk about hyperfocus and special interests. So I just thought that everyone was less passionate than me about their interests. Or maybe they hadn't found the thing that they were so passionate about that they would spend hours every day like obsessing over it and learning as much as they could about it. I just thought maybe everyone just hadn't found their thing yet. And like I know a few people who are super hyper focused on things or super passionate about certain things, but it's not most people. But in my experience thus far, people who are like super passionate about stuff, at least the ones that I have dealt with, it's usually entrepreneurs or people, creating their own things, creators, things like that. That you can tell they're like obsessed with stuff. My problem though too is if I find something I'm like super interested in, I just go down the rabbit holes. I won't take care of myself. Like other aspects of my life suffer. This is an unhealthy example. I was super into pickleball. I'm gonna say like almost a year to the point that I don't know, there was something about it that just made me get serious. I think because I liked the fact that you could level up pretty easily if you just like did drills and learned more about gameplay and strategy and stuff. So I went so far as to have lessons and I kept getting better and I started entering tournaments and I started winning at tournaments, like in doubles tournaments. It became too much. At the same time though, I was like slowly starting to build up my YouTube empire. So then there came this point where pickleball is cool, but there was like, what's the end game? That's my problem. It's like, if I'm interested in it, I will like hyper focus on it. I was playing pickleball like 4 hours a day at some point, and that's also around the time that I got assessed for autism. And yeah, we were having a problem, but at the time I wasn't so into YouTube really, but YouTube started to like take off a bit, started to like kind of go like this a bit in terms of especially earning income potential. So that's kind of where I like jumped ship from this thing and jumped over to this thing. For me, I like doing certain things, but I also like when novelty is introduced into them. And ultimately, I like creating things and getting better at creating. I'm able to work better with my neurotype in that sense and just follow the flow of like my creative process or whatever. So it was just kind of wild for me how like I loved pickleball, but like overall pickleball shouldn't have taken 4 hours a day for a bit. But part of it really was that YouTube started picking up and that seems like a healthier addiction. So now I understand that it's not necessarily that I'm intense or I'm too much about stuff. It's just I experience interests differently. Next, I want to talk about emotional intensity. Okay. And even just like being misunderstood. So there are times when things would happen and even though I knew that everything was fine, like especially, and this kind of also leads into like changes in routine, things like that. I'll just kind of lump that in here. But if something changes like and it's unexpected or someone says something that I didn't anticipate, or really what really sets me off is people misinterpret my intentions about things. Like maybe I say something or maybe I'm doing some actions and I know in my heart that everything is all good, but they look at the same set of circumstances that I'm looking at and they assess it differently and then put their assumptions onto me. And usually it's something to do with me having ill intent, which is never the case, but then it's like, oh my gosh. That's why I always feel like I have to over explain myself too. If anything happens like that, there's too many like feelings. There's like a prickly feeling that wells up inside of me and then somehow it goes to my tear ducts and then my eyes just start, even if I know everything's fine, it's just the act of being caught off guard. Like I guess it's the fight or flight or freeze response, like just getting caught off guard or thrown off by someone having a different interpretation of my intent, or like something happens that I'm not expecting. It's too easy for me to cry, and then as a result my eyes betray me. AuDHD brains kind of just feel everything at like a higher intensity, even if we don't mean to. Like we know, theoretically it's not a big deal, but our brains do feel everything more deeply. And I guess the important thing for me now is realizing that I'm not broken. It's just my brain does things a bit differently, and that's okay. Let me know what kind of videos you want to see on here. If you have questions about things or my experiences with certain things, I'm so happy to share more stuff. Let me know down below. So just a reminder, you're not alone, you're not broken. It's AuDHD. All right, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.